Welcome to my channel and thank you for watching the video. This is nuclear war simulation, topic I haven't really covered before, which was probable target locations in the event of a kind of global nuclear war, and target locations in Canada. Where would those most likely be? And you can kind of already see a little bit here visually some of those locations. Let me go ahead and take that off the screen for a second. So, where would be the most likely target locations? Kind of zoom in. So I placed a marker at most of them just to make it for easy reference. Doesn't necessarily mean there's a military base. Usually in the simulation, this signifies a military base. But I want to keep it kind of simple and straightforward. So, for example, this one right here is CFB Halifax, which is an Eastern Naval base, and it's pretty important to NATO's Atlantic Fleet logistics. This is a hydroelectric plant here, Churchill Falls. Let's see. Some are just city-wise, so like Montreal, Vancouver, Toronto, Ottawa. So not every city's hit. You know, Canada would probably be one of the more lower priority target locations comparatively. So, you know, just say a Russian or Eastern Bloc attack against NATO countries, Canada wouldn't necessarily be a high priority, especially comparative to United States, Britain, France, nuclear-armed countries. But it was still highly probable that it would at least some attacks, especially as this ally and support for NATO and United States to prevent, resupply, recovery efforts, etc. Niagara Falls, a hydroelectric plant. Let's see here. Which one did I go over that one? CFB North Bay, one of NORAD's aerospace warning control sites. Winnipeg, just as targeted for a city location. We have Calgary, the city itself, but also there is I can't even remember which one's here. If this is I don't think this is Cold Lake. Let me see. Honestly, can't remember which location this is. Map's not good at calling it out. But there's Cold Lake right there, so we got targeted locations there. Vancouver, and then Victoria. So kind of a mix of locations. Couple power locations, power grid locations, cities, strategic air bases. And again, not a lot. Now what you're going to see may look like a lot as we look at the attack plan and stuff, but this is just a fraction of the Russian strategic rocket forces here. Each location's being hit by a mix somewhere roughly between 400 to 800 kilotons of warheads. So these are all MIRVed deployment weapons here, sub-based MIRV deployment weapons. And roughly speaking, I'd say maybe about 150 warheads. For reference, Russia has about 1,700 operationally deployed, so does the United States, and there's more strategic reserve. All right, let's go ahead and run the simulation now that you've seen the war plans. Let me take that off. I just positioned a couple subs up here, kind of keep it simple. Oh, it's not going to help if I don't actually activate the plans. So execute plans, and let's go ahead and start running. 10 times speed. Change the map back to this kind of visual representation. So we'll start to see these light up. Takes a little bit of time in the sim because, they have to prepare for launch. Starting to see him launch now. And actually, it's another visual representation. Only this isn't even the sum total of 3 nuclear subs warhead deployments or rocket forces. I mean, it's not even fully 2 of them. It's about 1.5. And that's based on what's operational deployed. That's not necessarily their total capacity. So we're seeing the missiles firing. Once you start to see the little red triangles pop up, that's when it's going to be the warheads separating from the missile and merged, multiple warheads. For the last several decades, the movement has been less based on one large warhead like a 2 or 5 megaton warhead and smaller, more accurate warheads. And they can vary. Some of these, like these are 100 megaton warheads. We have some that can be a 450. There's some, larger, but it all depends on the rocket delivery system. Reference the United States. So the United States on their subs, they have everything down, warheads that are all the way down to a 6 kiloton, which would be roughly about a third of say one of the atomic bombs that were dropped on in World War II, all the way up to 400. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head if it's 400 or 450 or 440, but that's the largest sub-based warhead we have deployed. Our ICBMs are 3 or 330. In fact, the largest warheads we currently have on inventory are air-based bombs. The B-83. So we're seeing these, they're about to start striking. Kind of zoom in a little. Canada doesn't have a very large population. It's very large geographically. So for the size compared to population, it's probably a more favorable location in the event of a nuclear strike, just because it's very large geographically. So people in these more remote areas far more likely to survival chances. So unlike, say, a country like Great Britain, which, is going to be a smaller land area, larger population comparative. All right, let's speed up time a little bit. Let's do its thing, and let's calculate losses now. Let's move this over into the screen. So we're going to see Canada 5.6, almost 5.7 million casualties, fatalities, representing 16% of their population. And again, this is a very small, limited, and frame of reference. Obviously, any nuclear deployment's not limited, but obviously there's a lot more warheads that they could have applied. But you're looking at 16% of your population more or less evaporated in a matter of hours. And, of course, this would be corresponding to attacks in the United States and other NATO countries. So worldwide, the loss would be much, much larger. And the loss for the United States would be much, much larger. But in this scenario, just through some fallout and some stuff, you're looking at almost 23,000 losses. There'd be an additional 328,000 cancer fatalities, 323,000 square kilometers, areas of evacuation. So quite a substantial, pun intended, fallout from this attack. So we're looking at short-term fallout here. And we'll look at long-term. So you see in the cities, be quite uninhabitable. And of course, very large geographic area, but a large amount of your population is going to be clustered in some of these locations. And of course, fallout's largely going to determine the direction and stuff by the air patterns, and so that can change depending on the day, how much wind's out that day. So these numbers can vary. The sim tries to use, so if you have a date on here, the sim tries to use the knowledge from that day. So you can kind of adjust things, change the day, and it may be, slightly, but generally wind usually kind of comes from a similar direction, at least North America, it seems like. I'm not a meteorologist, though. So we're looking at, so I hadn't really explored the impact to Canada. Somebody requested in one of the comments. So if you like this video, if you'd like to see something, leave me a comment. Most of my videos are kind of based off previous comments, what people request, different areas to explore. And if I've already done it, I'll try to leave you a reply with a link to the video I've done. If you like sleep ambience videos, last 2 videos I just uploaded, fighter jet ambience. I tell you, me and my wife, big fans of the ambience videos. We like to sleep to them at night. The one I just posted was an 8-hour video. We had that planned last night when we were sleeping. We both slept like a rock. So highly recommend it. If you like it, check it out. It's the last video I posted. I'll put a link in the description. So appreciate it, everybody. Thanks. Have a great day.